think a really important way to support someone who's developing themselves in the early stages of their career is building confidence in that person. Often they're in a uncertain environment, a sort of situation that they aren't comfortable with or familiar with. And so just building up that personal confidence that they can absolutely make their own way for themselves. And it will be an individual type of journey. Everyone steps into organizations in a different way or into employment in a different way. So whether that's an internship, a graduation program, an apprenticeship, or even just through an entry level role, just helping them understand that, it's a great opportunity for them, building that confidence and faith within themselves that they can show up in their best way. I think, especially for people who are working around people in the early stages of their careers, a lot of patience and understanding goes a long way. We all started off not knowing how to do things at one point, and then we quickly learned and got very familiar and comfortable with those things. So in the same way that if you were learning a new skill, you would hope that people around you have the patience to help you learn and grow and ask those questions, which are never silly questions, but are really important to growing their understanding of the topic or of the skill. I think that's the same sentiment that they should apply when they're speaking to people in early careers. And again, even if you're repeating yourself maybe once, twice, just again, having that patience to answer their questions and help them, because again, they might be teaching you that skill one day.
Families and all that. I've had a lot of support from my family. Obviously, I started a little bit later, so I had this and an ahhing about whether I should do it or not. Obviously, taking a pay cut from where I was at before, like yourself, it was quite hard to balance that because you got things happening outside of work. There's things that you want to go do in your life. You want to buy a house. You got kids that you might want in the future. You might have a girlfriend or a wife. So you got to balance these things. And I was lucky enough to have a lot of support. And I think a good support grounds is the basis of a person who will become great. And it can happen in all lengths and strengths of life. That when that person is supported, it makes them better.
I want you to really think about how they feel on their first day and in their first week and even in the first month, and really sit down and think about what's just day-to-day business as usual for us. Actually, it's a massive milestone in their career joining us, and we want to give them the absolute first best impression that they can have of us and our workplace and get them off to the best start in their career. So when they're 20, 30, 40 years down the line and they're talking about my first job, that's a positive experience for them. So what is it that you can offer that's going to make it a standout experience for them? You can never tell them enough information. So whether that's where they can grab coffee, where the photocopies are, the facilities, where's the best place to take lunch, you can never give them enough information. And all of those things, while they're not connected directly to their day-to-day job and the business, they're all things that will make them feel comfortable in the workplace and therefore get the most out of their work output.
I know that a lot of people come from they've had a long career, they've been doing it for 30 years, and their opinion is right. It's gospel. It's what's correct. And I feel like a lot of the time, at least sometimes it happens, where they don't want to hear your voice because you're new to it. Obviously, there's going to be times where you say something and you're going to be wrong, but it's kind of being given that opportunity to express your opinion, because I feel like I learn from asking a question or suggesting something and being either shut down, or they're like, wow, well, that's a great idea, and moving forward with it. So I think having a level of patience and a willingness to kind of see you improve.
Yeah, definitely.
And being honest about what they expect from you and transparent.
Yeah. And trust is another thing as well. I feel like the more you're trusted, the more confident you'll be to put yourself out there. Like this again, I'm trusted by my manager to come do this, so I put myself forward and here I am. It's a really nice feeling to be trusted by people that have been in the company for tens of years.
For parents in particular, I think don't force them down a particular route. Parents have to be open-minded to the whole host of different options that are there now, and just be there and listen and guide and be supportive.
I'd say remember that you started your career once, that not everything is going to be perfect all the time, and that starting a career, it's likely that we'll make some mistakes, and that we don't know everything. We might be willing and ready and open to learn, but we need the support from the managers to teach us the things that they know and pass on their knowledge that they've built, and just spread the knowledge.
I think it's really helpful when schools and kind of early careers leads help their students to look for the best opportunities for them, making sure students are doing extracurricular activities, like guiding, scouting, cadets, that kind of thing. It all really helps build into the skill, but also holding these students accountable. Like, we have had quite a big problem with absence and communication, and I feel like sometimes at school there isn't that accountability if you're off sick or you can't get to work or you're running late. So it's really important to help these students know that they are going to have to step up and take responsibility for their actions.
So being a good colleague to somebody in an early careers role is hugely important, because you essentially are setting the tone for what this young person might end up being like. And so, if you come in every day quite dour and another day at the grind, then obviously it's not very inspirational. And so for a colleague, an older colleague, obviously being really supportive, outlining that no question's a bad question. These young people coming in won't know things like we've talked about PAYE. When does my pay packet come? What is a pension? Why do I need it? Even adults who are in their 40s and 50s are just coming round going, what the heck's my pension doing? Where is it? I don't even know who it's with. So I think just understanding that this really inquisitive young person is there to be moulded and in fact can help this company grow. They are the talent that are going to help us grow as a business. How do I nurture that talent? How do I encourage that talent? And how do I kind of park some of the things that I'm not happy with, and instead of offloading it onto this curious mind, how do I help them be the very best version that they can be?
I think one of the biggest things that leaders can do is actually listen to their early careers population and prioritise their needs, balancing it with the needs of the business, because they come with such great energy and great ideas that actually they add so much value to the organisation. So it's really important to engage with them, but also to be their career stakeholders and really champion those that are doing excellent work, and recognise success. Because if you recognise your early careers professionals, they'll stay with your organisation and they'll add a lot of value.
Teachers, I would say, they need to be a lot more understanding. I think teachers at the moment are very much go to university, the straight route of what it was like before, and they need to understand that there are different ways of getting into your career right now. So they need to be kind of more aware about it, be more educated, and kind of being able to show that they are supporting students with their different career choices, and that's completely okay. That would be my advice. Obviously, your view as a manager would be a little bit different to my experience.
The world has changed.
Yes, yeah.
So much. I think the apprenticeship route through to qualification is amazing.
Yeah.
I've got a 14-year-old who is definitely already thinking about doing apprenticeships rather than going to university, and understanding the different routes through and what is there to support in is available is a fabulous thing.
The first thing that I always recommend is just have a level of patience with anyone that is going to be onboarding to your team, especially if they haven't even been in the industry per se. I think knowing that they're going to have some shortcomings, they're going to maybe have some slip-ups, it's all part of the learning process, and it just makes it a bit more comfortable to them to realise that even for yourself, you was once there. And I think once they kind of get the grasp that it's okay to kind of fall forward, I think you're probably going to see a lot more of their character come out a bit more. They'll be a lot more responsive in terms of that constructive criticism, and even don't shy away from praising them as well, because I think we're all motivated by a sense of knowing that we've accomplished something and done well within the team. So I think that essence would be the first and major one.
That's what I feel we've got on with our manager so well, is that he can tell us off sometimes if we mess up, but at the same time, after he's had a bit of a go at us, he'll tell us, look, I get it, you're learning, just don't do this next time, do it this way. And I think that's so important, ensuring that you've kind of got that protection, because you are still learning and you are still new to the job. And I think in Harrods it's sweet, to be honest with you. I think most managers are quite like that.
Giving them that leeway. They're just starting and they might make some mistakes. I made some mistakes, but I've been at Harrods now for over 3.5 years. So I seem to be doing something right.